TOTDIS. Node W2CHN connected to node 48496.
Amateur line report number 2515 with a release date of Friday, January 9th, 2026, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The FCC bans the sale of foreign-made drones in the U.S. Montenegro launches its first satellite and an HF net to take care of family caregivers. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2515 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Union, Kentucky, here's Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Our top story is of particular interest to drone users. A ban on imports into the U.S. now means that only American-made drones with American-made parts may be sold here. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, picks up the story from here.
The import and sales of foreign-made drones and components are now banned in the U.S. following action by the Federal Communications Commission, citing the potential of national security risks. The agency's move follows an executive order from the White House in June banning unmanned aircraft systems and their parts. The executive order, known as Restoring American Aerospace Sovereignty, stated that the move also has the goal of boosting drone manufacture in the U.S. for use here and for export to the global marketplace. The ban is expected to have far-reaching effects on drone sellers as well as their customers. Drones are widely used by first responders, farmers, business owners, and hobbyists. The ban only affects new products that are not already here in the U.S. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
As of January 1st, the landscape for drone operators has also changed in the UK under new Civil Aviation Authority regulations. Each drone to be sold must carry class marks that reflect compliance with that particular aircraft's technical and safety standards. The class marks are similar to those used in the EU and cover where and how the drone can be flown. There is also an array of new regulations covering different weights of drones and their permitted proximity to people or crowds of people. Drones carrying cameras and weighing at least 100 grams are also required to have a flyer ID. A remote ID is also required to transmit the drone's identification and its location while airborne. The new regulations apply to drone use by hobbyists as well as professionals. The class-based regulations do not apply to drones purchased before the first of this year. They will instead operate under the weight-based rules. For specific rules, visit caa.co.uk/drones. There's a bit of celebration in Montenegro, which recently marked a satellite first, as we hear from Jeremy Boots, G4 in J8.
Weighing just under 2 kilograms, the 1U CubeSat began its journey on the 28th of December aboard a Soyuz carrier rocket from Russia's new Cosmodrome near the border with China, a project of Montenegro Space Research. It is designed to collect data for transmission back to Earth. On board are a high-resolution camera, solar panels, and a variety of sensors, all designed to function throughout the satellite's 3-year mission in low Earth orbit. Montenegro's Amateur Radio Association announced that it received its first telemetry signals from the satellite on the 31st of December, adding that it planned to donate an antenna to the Space Research Organization for everyday reception. The satellite has been named Lucha, which is Montenegrin for light. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A well-regarded electronic supply business in Connecticut is not closing its doors after the death of its founder last year. Instead, the company is moving, as we hear from CellMB KB3 TZD.
Quicksilver Radio Products, the popular Connecticut-based business established by John Bartshearer and 1GNB 2 decades ago, is relocating to Pennsylvania as a division of the New Holland Radio Shack. John, who was widely known as John B., became a silent key in October of 2025 while he was hospitalized. The death of the popular and personable radio amateur also drew concerns among loyal longtime customers that his business would permanently close its doors. In a late December announcement that appeared in the QRZ.com forums and on Facebook, the company said it was in the process of moving its inventory to its new location. Quicksilver said that the company also planned to have a presence at Hamcation in Orlando, Florida in February. The business's website, qsradio.com, is also operating again. This is CellMB, KB3, TZD.
Experimental HF stations that had previously held waivers exempting them from station identification are now being required to transmit their assigned call signs at least once every half hour. The FCC sent letters in December to those stations who held the temporary waivers saying it was dropping the exemptions following complaints of interference from other spectrum users. The experimental licenses are for stations operating on the band between 2 and 25 megahertz. A posting on Radio World reported the change, which first appeared in Experimental Radio News from Bennett Cobb, AK4AV. The FCC has said that the identification must be either by voice or Morse code, and that digital encoding and digital modulation must be disabled during the ID. Do you know any hams who are potential Hall of Famers? Listen up. Here's Jack Parker, W8 ISH.
Nominations are open now through to the 31st of March for candidates to be nominated for entry to the Heritage CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame. Licensed hams and any individuals whose actions have an impact on amateur radio are eligible. The Heritage CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame continues the tradition established in 2001 by CQ Magazine, which has ceased publication. Ham Gallery oversees the Hall of Fame and is accepting nominations sent to the attention of Tom Roscoe, KHCX, at khcx@hamgallery.com. A diverse group of licensed amateurs will review the nominations. Please ensure that the words CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame appear in your email's subject line. There will be a maximum of 3 inductees. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The nomination period is also open through to the 1st of March for the Contest Hall of Fame, which is being managed by the Worldwide Radio Operators Foundation. Originally established by CQ Magazine in 1986, candidates for inclusion are those who have personal operating achievements but also provided meaningful support to others in pursuit of contesting excellence. Recent inductees include Uli Weiss, DJ2YA, and Pat Barkey in 9RV. The Hall of Fame also includes Silent Key Dick Ross, K2MGA, president of CQ Publishing. For details, visit the website contesthof, that's one word, .com. A Minnesota Amateur Radio Club is honoring the U.S. Army chaplain whose prayers provided courage and faith to General George Patton's troops during World War II. He also happened to be a licensed ham who became a silent key in 1995. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us the details.
Father George Metcalf, who held the call sign W0JH, also held faith in the troops he served under General George Patton, and that favorable weather would aid the Allies' efforts during the Battle of the Bulge. With the help of a fellow military chaplain, the priest offered a prayer for the Allies to enter the key battle under fair skies. In the decade that followed the war's end, the Episcopal priest made his home at what is now the Bellwin Conservancy's Savannah Center in Afton, Minnesota, on January 9th, 10th, and 11th. The Stillwater Amateur Radio Association will be on the air from the priest's former home to honor him, and will be using his original call sign. They will be joined by Father Brian K. Burgess, KD4UTL, an Episcopal bishop who will be visiting from Illinois to operate with the hams and officiate on Sunday at a local service. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
In Germany, amateurs' use of the 70 megahertz band appears to be in limbo as of January 1st. The annual temporary use permit that had been in place expired on the 31st of December. The regulator has taken no action to renew it. The novice level, the middle license class in Germany, amateur radio licenses have had temporary permission to use the 6-meter band. The nation's regulator, Benetza, a federal agency, has not extended these operating privileges for Class E license holders. Any amateurs wishing to transmit on 50 megahertz in Germany must hold a Class A full license, which has had permanent access to the band since June 2024. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the Mid-State Hams WA9RDF repeater in Greenwood, Indiana on Sundays at 7 p.m. local time. Years have passed since commercial telegraphy began at the Lizard Wireless Station in the UK, where operators discovered that radio waves could follow the curve of the Earth. This month, hams are at that same clifftop site in Cornwall, marking the occasion and the role the station played in shaping communications forever. We hear more from Jeremy Boot, G4 in JH.
The commercial telegraphy station that opened in 1901 at the Lizard Wireless Station captured the imagination of the pioneer Guglielmo Marconi. He used it as a test site whilst planning what was to become part of his historic transatlantic transmissions from near Poldhu in December of that year. By then, radio had already emerged as a prominent communication force. Just 23 days after the Lizard station opened, its operators received the first over-the-horizon wireless signals sent from St. Catherine's Point on the Isle of Wight. It was a record-setting moment. The station's historic call sign, GB4LWS, is back on the air throughout the month of January. Ham radio operators from the Cornish Radio Amateur Club joined Jeff, G0FHT, and Tim, M0AFJ, of the National Trust to mark the anniversary. Jeff, the Lizard's amateur radio operations manager, told Newsline that the celebration recognizes the station's role in creating the foundation for our modern connected world. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
It's a race against the clock, or at least the calendar, for members of the Rebel DX group as they step up their plans to activate a very environmentally sensitive DX location, Conway Reef, 300 miles south of Fiji. John Williams, VK4 JJW, has those details.
The Rebel DX Group has announced that they expect to face fully restricted physical access to Conway Reef, but are nonetheless hoping to activate the site before the new limitations begin. The team posted a notice on various DX news sites saying, quote, "We're quickly organising a trip to 3D2/C before the new restrictions take place," end quote. The team reports that Fiji's Ministry of Fisheries will soon designate the site as a restricted access zone. No specific dates were provided in their announcement, either for the activation plans or the start of the restrictions. A trip to Conway Reef would mark a fourth return there. The Rebel DX Group activated it in May of 2024 as 3D2CCC, facing numerous challenges, including very windy conditions and issues with birds interfering with the equipment. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
The letter X is often used to symbolize a crossing, and one ham club based in Japan is putting that symbol to good use, helping new CW operators cross the barrier of fear. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, gives us the details.
The activity is called CQXing, or CQ Crossing, and it was launched on the 1st of January by the A1 Club to help new CW operators overcome their fear of having QSOs longer than the customary short exchange. Described as a crossing to meet more CW friends, the activity centres around 7.030 megahertz, particularly on Fridays from 1300 to 1500 UTC. The International Club, which is based in Japan, said in its announcement that while a simple exchange of RSTs is often fine, amateurs engaging in CQXing are leaving the opportunity open for something a bit longer, even a rag tune. The club said that calling CQ in this manner conveys, quote, our shared desire to operate with consideration and respect, making it easier for CW beginners to participate, end quote. Any ham hearing the message CQ A1CXING is welcome to reply. A speed of between 10 to 20 words per minute is suggested. To find out more about the A1 Club, visit the link in the text edition of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
In the world of DX, listen for Giovanni IZ2DPX operating as PJ7-IZ2DPX and Flavio IW2NEF operating as PJ7-IW2NEF as they activate St. Martin, IOTA number NA105. They will be on the air from the 13th through to the 21st of January using sideband at FT8 and FT4 on various bands. The DARC team special event station will be active as DH2026EM between the 10th of January and the 10th of February during the Men's European Handball Championship, being co-hosted by Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Matthias DL2MM is on the air as P40AA from Aruba, IOTA number SA036, from the 11th through to the 29th of January, and his operations will include the CQ Worldwide 160-meter CW contest. Outside the contest, listen for him using CW sideband and FT8 on 160 through 10 meters. A group of radio operators from the Palau Radio Club are on Koror Island, IOTA number OC009, operating from the 7th through to the 15th of January. Listen for T88HS, T88SM, and T88XE. The three will be using various bands and modes. CQRZ.com for all QSL details about these activations. Hams, by many definitions, are caretakers. Through public service, they care for their communities. Through fellowship, they mentor and care for one another. There's also another level of caretaking, one that has less visibility, but carries perhaps the greatest commitment of all. In our final story for this week, Jim Davis, W2JKD, explains.
48 Novembers have come and gone since Doug, KC2YME, and his wife Linda were married, and they've rarely been apart. The couple raised 3 sons, and even as Doug pursued his career, he found joy in his off hours as a ham radio operator. Those off hours are precious to him now since he retired to become a full-time caregiver to his wife who has dementia and requires kidney dialysis. Being deaf, she either reads his lips or increasingly relies on messages being written down. Still, amateur radio is there for him, and at times, Doug's ragged shoes have put him in touch with any number of amateurs who, like him, are devoting time, sometimes full time, to a family member's complex needs. He's now hoping to bring together these kindred spirits to gather on 40 meters to share insights, stories, and ultimately, friendship. He's looking for suggestions as to the date and time for such an event. Anyone wishing to join or learn more can contact him at kc2ymeham@gmail.com. I'm Jim Davis, W2JKD.
It's a new year. How about some new ham radio haikus from our Newsline listeners? Visit our website at arnewsline.org, and as you compose your ode to your favorite on-the-air activity, we will help you use the correct number of syllables to make an authentic haiku. Submit your work and then sit back and wait to hear whether your inspired haiku will be highlighted on our website where everyone can read it. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT News Service, ARRL, Bennett Cobb, AK4AV, David BR, K7DB, DARC, DX News, Doug Backer, KC2YME, FCC, 425 DX Bulletin, Jeff G0FHT, Montenegro Space Research Organization, National Trust, NZNet News, Pioneer Press, Radio World, ShortwaveRadio.de, Space Watch Global, Stillwater Amateur Radio Association, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2 GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. We wish all our listeners the very best for the year ahead in 2026. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2026. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Northeast Ohio and all our Outlanders. CQ. This is the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association ClubNet on the W8WKY repeater. We're at 147 Mark 39 megahertz with a PL tone of 114 Mark 8. You also can get us on Allstar and Echolink. Echolink is W8WKYR, and our node is 48496. This is a control net open to any and all licensed amateurs. All traffic should go through net control. Emergency traffic and priority traffic is welcome to break in at any time. Your net control operator this evening is Phil, Papa Hotel India Lima, and my call sign is K8PMI. That's Kilo 8 Papa Mike India. All right, what we're going to do first is I got some trivia questions here, and I'm going to do the in and outs first, then I'll do short time and mobiles, and then we'll get to general check-ins. I'm also operating on NetLogger, so if you'd like to check in on the blue screen, go right ahead and do that. Just type in, check me in, Phil, and I'll get you on the list. So let's get all our in and out traffic taken care of right now. So if you're in and out, give me your call sign and I'll get you on the log. This is K8PMI and I'm listening.
Number 8 Whiskey Sugar, Bill is in London. In and out, good listener.
Kilo F8, Mike November Tango, Tom and Cannon, in and out.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, WV3K, Phil and Canal Fulton, with no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Alpha, KF8, DTA, Jeff, New Franklin, in and out.
Kilowatt, Delta 8, Sierra, Quebec. Jim in Marshallville, I'll be in and out.
All right, I'll pick it up there. We got the National Weather Service in and out, KA8MNT, WV3K, KF8DTA, and KD8SQ. With that, I am going to go for check-ins. So anybody that's short time or mobile, call now. I'm listening. This is K8PMI.
KE8 IME, David, Sterling, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Hotel Romeo Foxtrot, W8HRF. Josh in Akron with the Winterfield Day announcement. When you're ready, Phil.
All right, I guess everybody's here for the long haul, which is good. So let's get it on over to Josh right now. I got, first of all, KE8 IME checked in and out. Josh, why don't you go ahead with the Winterfield Day announcement. And if you want a trivia question, I'll give you one, but I think you're going to be a little long-winded here. So you got the con. This is K8 PMI.
W8WKY.
K8 PMI, W8HRF. Everybody can guess what happened there. My node ID. Let me make sure I got it. Good evening, Phil. Thank you for picking me up. I'll try not to be too long-winded. I know, I forgot to calculate how many sleeps we have until Winterfield Day, but it's very few. Less than 2 weeks now. Just wanted to remind everybody about Winterfield Day on Saturday the 24th and Sunday the 25th. We're going to be starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday is when operations begin. Operations will conclude Sunday, I believe it's 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock. Address for the location for Winterfield Day is 8245 Fulton Road, Sterling, Ohio, 44276. We ask that folks do carpool if possible. I think there will be plenty. I think there'll be enough parking for everybody. But please don't bring a limousine. Bring a smaller car if possible, and carpool if possible. There is a church down the road. I'll get the information for that out in an email down the road where we'll have some overflow parking. So on Saturday. Let me take a break. RSVPs are on the club website. There are two, one for operating and one for meals. If you plan on attending, there will be 3 meals. Saturday lunch is at 1 p.m. Saturday dinners at 6 p.m., both cooked by our very own Nick at Night, KE8QKO, bringing his smoker down there, so we're excited about that. Going to have some good food. And then Sunday morning, 9 a.m., provided by one of the members by the Canton Amateur Radio Club. So that will be very cool. Let me take another break. Feel free to contact me with questions, comments, concerns, interest. We have plenty of operating slots open, so please don't be bashful. And I would like to try to get as many folks signed up by Saturday evening as we can, especially with regards to the meals, because Nick is going to be shopping, and Dale is going to be shopping for food on Sunday evening. So we'd like to get a pretty good idea of who's attending by this Saturday evening. So the sign-up does not close, but that is the goal. So is for have as many sign-ups as we can by Saturday evening. So we'll have at the meeting. We're going to talk Winterfield Day rules and our goals, and it should be a good time. So thank you, Phil, for letting me take up some time, and you can keep me on the list. K8 PMI, W8HRF.
All right, thank you very much, Josh. We'll be clear with W8HRF. Good information. Hope to see everybody there. I still got to see what I got going on. It's been pretty busy out there. So, all right, let's do general check-ins. This is K8 PMI. Try spacing it out. We got a lot of nodes out there, not as much as on the barometer net, but we got some out there, so be cautious when you're keying up, but I'll try to pick them all out. This is K8 PMI. Call now, please.
Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8, LYJ, mobile on my way to the Magic City.
Alpha 8 Charlie Sierra AA8 CS Gary in Fairlawn.
I can think of
HD Dave Copley. WAA KOC Whiskey Alpha 8 Kilo Oscar Charlie Fred in Akron.
KE8 QFT Fred in Medina.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Quebec X-Ray. KE8 VQX Joe in Akron.
WO3X Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray John in Cuyahoga Falls.
Kilo 4 Oscar Golf K4OG Mark still in Copley.
W8 GMF Gary and Wooster.
Alpha
8
Charlie
missed
Tango.
one.
I got KA8 LYK. Your mobile will get right to you. AA8CS NT8D. I got WA8 KOC Fred. I got you. I got KE8 QFT. I got KE8 VQX. WO3X K4OG. Then I couldn't pull that one out of the. I think it was Doug, but I couldn't pull the call out. And then I had N8 GMS. Anybody that I missed, please call now.
W8 GMF.
Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Whiskey Echo.
KE8 QFT? I don't know.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John Maslin.
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Papa KF8 GTP Lori Maslin.
Let me pick it up there.
LKC8 Fox Queen Victor evening.
All right, I'll pick it up there. All right, I picked up Mark FQV, AA8CT, KE8 UIB, and I got Lori in there as well. All right, let's get to our mobile at the top, KA8LYJ. I got to get you a trivia question here. You're going to start us off. And the first question is I'm going to do animal trivia. And what is the only mammal that lays eggs? Over to KA8LYJ.
This is KA8LYJ, and there's actually two of them. There is the platypus that everybody knows, but the echidna is also a monotreme. It lays eggs also. Yeah, I'm still mobile. I'm on 76 heading back to Barberton from Rittman. Was at the American Legion meeting tonight. Yeah, it was a short one. I stopped and got a cup of coffee, and I'm heading back, and thought I'd check into the group while I was driving. This is KA8LYJ.
KA8LYJ, very good job. But just so everybody else knows, my answers are the right answers, and there can't be any objections because it's my trivia questions. I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so I just have to go off of what I see. Hi. So other than that, thank you very much there, Robert. And let's head on over to our fearless leader, A8CS. This is K8 PMI. You're up next.
WAWKY, this is AA8CS. All right, Phil, good to hear you this evening. Let's see. I'm thinking that, the previous answer wasn't correct, I'm assuming. Is that right? Over?
W8WKY.
No, I screwed up. That answer was correct. He was right. It's a platypus. I just had one. He had two. I'll give you a new one here. Which animal has fingerprints almost identical to humans? Over to you, AAHCS.
Okay. Let's see. Which animal has fingerprints just like humans? I'm thinking, I don't know, KD8SLG? Could I possibly be right? No, I'm just kidding. No, let's see. I'm going to go with, this has got to be wrong, but chimpanzees. I mean, I can't think of anything else other than Nick. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Ron, KB8 LNR. There we go. Got that right. Good evening, Ron. I know he's working away in the shack there. I don't know if he'll be able to get over to the microphone or not, but I do want to give him a shout out. Also want to remind everybody we have a club meeting come up this Thursday. Yeah. 2 days away. Club meeting. It should be a lot of fun. We have some giveaways. And also, the long-tailed rat, N8LTR, is going to have an exhibition of leftover stuff from Dick's estate. I think I have a copy of what's left over. I'll send that out with the agenda, but that will be forthcoming. He's going to have some stuff. Let's get Dick's estate done and help Susan out there. Anyway, I think I covered all my bases. That's all I have. Love you, Nick. AAHCS, back to net. 73, and great job, Phil.
All right, we'll be clear with AAHCS. And KD8SLG is the wrong animal, so apologize there, Gary. You did not get the answer correct. So it's going to go on to Dave, NT8D. I need to know which animal has a fingerprint almost identical to humans. This is K8BMI.
Oh, good evening, Phil. Good evening, everybody on the net and any listeners to the Club Net here. Hope everybody's having a good start to the week. It was cold this morning. Got a little better in the afternoon. And we are getting back at it. So Thursday night is going to be right in the middle of a busy part of the week, but we're going to get there. I mean, hopefully we can get there and get a margarita before the meeting. That's going to be the plan. No promises, though. But let's see. Anything else going on? Nothing much. Don't know if I can make the Winter Field Day, but that sounds like a blast. It's been a while since I've been to one, probably half a dozen years or more. So good on Josh and everybody for making that happen. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting event. I gotta go with Gary still. I mean, not with the Nick thing. Nick. Yeah, we'll do DNA. We can do DNA tests on club members another time. Okay. But I gotta go with the chimpanzee. I gotta go with I gotta stick with Gary on that one. Chimpanzee's gonna be my answer there, Phil. Back to W8WKY and TAD.
NTAD, this is K8PMI. No, that is the wrong answer. So we're gonna head on over. We're going right through all the barometer net NCOs here, and just pounding them out one at a time. So Fred's up next, WA8KOC. I need to know what animal has a fingerprint almost identical to humans. And usually I do 3 questions. If no one gets it, I'll give the answer. So regardless, you will get to know the answer, Fred, before you're done. This is K8PMI.
W8WKY, or K8PMI, my buddy Phil. Doing a fabulous job as always. Excellent. And thank you for taking my check-in and allowing me to be part of the net here this evening. Because I'm a long-time fur bearer trapper, long time, and I did a lot of trapping, I'm going to say it would be the possum. If you look at their print in the mud or in snow, amazing. And I might be wrong on that, but it's my guess. And it's my guess that I'll get to tell you good morning again tomorrow morning if you have time on the barometer net. 7-3 to you and everybody else in here playing games. We'll look forward to talking to everybody real soon. K8PMI, WA8KOC, 7-3, buddy.
WA8KOC. That's a very good... on the right track there, but the actual animal that has fingerprints almost identical to humans is a koala, which I did not know that. So, all right, let's head on over to Medina, KE8QFT. Another Fred there, and I need to know how far away can a wolf smell its prey? You're up next on the ClubNet. This is K8PMI. KE8QFT. You out there?
I think Fred said he had a phone call on the blue screen. KD8SLG.
Thanks for checking that out. We'll circle back. All right, let's head on over to Joe, KE8VQX. You got the same question. What did I read? Now I can't even see where I was at here. Oh, how far away can a wolf smell its prey?
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. Good evening, Phil, and the net. Good to be here for a change for the Club Net. Tragically, I do not know the answer to that, so let's see. Let's say it's 2 miles. I'll just go with 2 miles. Not much else going on, so again, good to be here. Thanks for getting me in, Phil. This is KE8VQX.
KE8VQX, outstanding job. 2 miles. I was going to go plus or minus. The actual answer was almost 2 miles. But very good guess. Yeah, I was pretty surprised at that myself. That's a pretty long way. So, all right, good talking to you. Being here, we'll be clear with KE8VQX. Now we're going to head over to Cuyahoga Falls. John, WO3X. I got to get you a question here, and yours is going to be, what animal has the highest blood pressure in the world? Over to you, John.
Yeah, thanks. This is WO3X. Well, let's see. Maybe besides humans, I'll just say a gorilla. This is WO3X, back to the net.
Very good guess, John, but that is not the correct answer. Yeah, humans, my blood pressure's gotten up there a few times, but I got good pills for that. All right, we'll be clear with WO3X. Thank you very much for being there, John. Now let's head on over to Middlemark, K4OG. You got the same question. What animal has the highest blood pressure in the world?
K8 PMI, K4OG. Good evening, Phil. Man, I don't know. We're going to pull one out of our hat and say, a giraffe? K4OG, back to net.
W8WKY.
K4OG, nailed it. I'd like to know how in the heck they got the blood pressure on it. That's what would be good. All right. Good job there, Mark, and I'm sure we'll catch you in the morning, or I'll hear you for sure. So 73s to you, and thanks for joining us. Now let's head on over to Gary, W8GMF, and let's see, we got to get another question here for you, and I'm going to go with how many times can a hummingbird flap its wings per second? Over to W8GMF.
All right, this is W8GMF on the Serenet. A hummingbird flaps its wings. Well, I counted them once. I lost track at about 37. I'm going to say 300. Just a wild guess. 300. It might be more.
Good guess, but you're a little high. Maybe a lot high. It's not that many times, but thanks for joining us, Gary. We'll be clear with W8GMF. The next one's not pulling up on NetLogger. I got NAGMS, or it might be W8GMF. That's you or close to it. Can you confirm your call? And you got the same question. How many times does a hummingbird flap his wings in a second? This is K8 PMI.
I think you got me twice. This W8GMF. I tried to correct it, but I think you got me twice.
I did. Thanks a lot, Gary. I got you right in there. All right. Thank you very much for that. Let's head on to Maslin, KE8UIB. I'm dying to know your answer. You usually are always laughing. So, John, KE8UIB, you got the question. How many times does a hummingbird flap his wings in 1 second? This is K8 PMI.
K8 PMI from KE8UIB. Good evening, Phil, everybody out there on the net. And let me see, my dog now is rapidly wagging his tail. So we'll just say 105 times a minute and see how that goes. Oh, man. Let me see. It is Tuesday night, you guys. It is a great night, and this is a good time and some really good answers on some great questions. So, hey, my mom and dad's listening in. They're enjoying the net, so they just want to say hello to everybody from their household to ours. And, let me see. That's about it for right now, Phil. So, you guys know me. I'm living that $5 dream a nickel at a time. So, this is KE8UIB. I will hand this back over to Net Control. 7-3, y'all. Thanks for running the net, Phil.
All right, John, thank you very much. We'll be clear with KE8UIB, and I'm going to give you that answer because it's 80 times per second. You're pretty close. So I'll give you that answer. I got a question for Lori, since she has to live with you. I'm sure this will hit home, but how many times does a giant panda poop in a day? KF8 DTP, I need to know your answer. This is K8 PMI.
K8 PMI from KF8 DTP. I'm so sorry. I can't even talk. I'm going to give you a guess. I don't really know. 5. Good one, Phil. Thanks. If that tells you anything. But with that, this is KFH DTP, and I'll be clear.
All right. Then just chimed in on the blue screen that it doesn't matter. Does anybody hear it? Or hear the tree fall? Oh, geez, Nick. Okay, we'll be clear with KF8DTP, and we're going to head on over to Craig, AA8CT. You could handle how many times Panda poops in a day. When I saw that answer, I was floored. But how's it going, Craig? This is K8PMI.
W8WKY, also known as K8PMI. Good evening, Phil. Thanks for doing it. Love your trivia. Wow. Well, I know how many times my dogs poop a night, but that's not a giant panda. So I'm going to say out of just a scientific wild-ass you-know-what, 8. And with that, this is AA8CT turning it back to W8WKY. And thank you, Phil. It has been a lot of fun. Take care, my friend, and we will probably maybe see you on Thursday.
All right, we'll be clear with AA8CT. And I got to get this question out of here because I thought it was sort of ridiculous. I didn't even want to read it, but I figured since it was John and Lori's turn, I figured I'd have them hardly talking, so it was worth it. So the actual panda, giant panda, poops 40 times in a day. It's probably because he eats Miralax all day long, I guess. Hi. All right, we'll be clear with AA8CT. We're going to head over to KC8FQV, and I got to get a good one. And don't be Googling. But which animal spends 90% of its lifetime sleeping? KC8FQV, you're up next on the W8WKY ClubNet.
Okay, so QV, 90% of the time sleeping, huh? Say a cat sleeping. I'm going to say a cat. So other than that, yeah, what a good net today. I read the club website. Yeah. All I was reading was the club website that was mentioned. And other people, have a fit or whatever. But yeah, I seen that, Josh. That was good. I was thinking about that, Josh. You were going to possibly go just down, I think he's talking about just east of the Winterfield Day site. There's a church. I think that's the one he's talking about. But yeah, I seen the field day, the winter field days, right on the corner of Fulton Road. I don't know what the side road was. I seen it. I didn't remember it because when I first looked at the satellite view, I thought they were coming off of the side street, but no, when I zoomed down in further, it was coming down off of Fulton Road. But yeah, it was good. And yeah, I looked at the operations. Yeah, you could be a home station. You could be is somewhere other than home, but in basically weather, a weather type, condition type building, human inhabitable. And then they got outside. Outside, maybe a shelter, but no really inhabitable conditions. And then there's mobile RV cars and that. And so I was looking at some of the stuff there. I thought that Wooster Group was doing, but I didn't see them anything. But maybe someone here is in the Wooster Group and knows that they are. Cause I looked it up and I said, I want to look at the you know, I was looking at the location of some of the field days around, or winter field days. There's a map, and it has many of them up there in our area. So we'll send it back to net, KSFQV. But I'm going to say a cat.
W8WKY.
All right, Mark, that was a very good guess, but it is not a cat. All right, let's see if we'll circle back to KE8QFT, see if he's off of his phone call. You're up next on the ClubNet. This is K8PMI looking for KE8QFT.
This is KE8QFT. Thanks for getting back to me. Yeah, important phone call. Someone in the hospitable and, okay. Snowing out there. Is there still a question? Over.
Roger. What animal spends 90% of its life sleeping?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I would say the cat. KE8QFT. Back to the net.
I'm sorry, that is not the correct answer. All right, we'll be clear, and let's head on over to the back of the bus, KD8SLG on the ClubNet.
W8WKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Phil, and all the Sarah Club netizens. Good times, man. Phil's Animal Kingdom. I'm going to go with sloth. Three-fingered sloth, to be exact. But I think that's my guess for tonight, for who sleeps the most. Although, boy, I would really like to take that title some days, let me tell you. Club meeting, Thursday night already. Seems like we just started, but the first was on a Thursday, so here we are already. Looking forward to it. Gary giving a State of the Club address and lots of other stuff to talk about. This is definitely a meeting you want to be at. I'll be at Casa Nuestra, 5 o'clock-ish. Grab a Texas burrito beforehand. All are welcome, of course. Tomorrow afternoon, got the Boredom Breaker net, 1 o'clock our time. That's 12 o'clock Tulsa time. Anyway, Dustin's got the first hour, and Nancy, if she's available, will have the second hour. We'll be there and linked up, so stop on by and say hi. Don't forget the Beacon Net tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Early check-in start at 9:30. Thanks, Phil. I'm going with Sloth. KD8SLG, back to net control.
All right, this is a good question because nobody has gotten it yet. Sloth was very good because when I first did that, that's what popped into my head, and well, once you hear the answer, you'll know. But other than that, that's the bottom of the list. We're not even at. So let's get another round of check-ins for the ClubNet. This is a W8WKY Sarah ClubNet, and I am looking for check-ins. My call is K8PMI. Call now, and I'm listening.
N8MWS, November 8, Mike Whiskey Sierra.
Kilo Charlie 1, Victor Quebec Sierra, KC1BQS, Paul in Maine.
Kilo Echo Lake, Quebec Whiskey Echo.
John, N8ZXB, mobile, in and out.
Kilo Echo Lake, Quebec Whiskey Echo.
Oh, Golf. K80SG, Mike in the VAR.
All right, I'll pick it up there. I got N8MWS, KC1VQS, KE8OWE, N8ZXB, and that was in and out. I got that was a repeat. And then Mike, I did not get your call. Can you state your call, please? This is K8 PMI.
Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Whiskey Echo.
All right, I got you. I already called you in there. It must have been double in there. Okay, let's go to the top of the list. N8MWS. We're over to you. Which animal sleeps 90% of its life? Which animal spends 90% of its life sleeping? Over to you.
Hey, good evening, everybody on the net. This is Pete, November 8th, Mike Whiskey Sierra, over here in beautiful Jackson Township, real close to the Akron Canton Airport in Stark County, Ohio, and on the shores of nothing, is what I always say. But I'm going to go with the theme tonight because koala seems to be coming up a few times, and I'm not Googling this stuff because I think there's some cheaters out there. The guy that had picked the giraffe for the highest blood pressure. How would you even know that? I wouldn't know that. But maybe I'm wrong, so I apologize if I am wrong. But don't cheat. Don't look up Google. That's the fun of it. And other than that, I don't have anything else for the net. I just appreciate you guys let me check in, and I really like this repeater a lot. And you're going to hear a lot more from me out here. I want to hang out here. So 7-3s, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful week and a great weekend. November 8th, Mike Whiskey Sierra, handing it back to Net Control. Thank you.
All right, Pete. Very good guess. It is the koala. So good job on that. And yes, I've heard you on this repeater before. And don't be a stranger. These nets rely on everybody's participation, because if it wasn't people checking in, we wouldn't be able to get up here and give you the trivia question. So we appreciate you being there. All right, let's head on out to Maine, KC1 VQS. Y'all give me your weather out there to see how cold it is, because you make me feel warm out there. So I got to get your trivia question, and this one is going to be, what animal is known to have the largest brain relative to its body size? Paul, you're up next on the Club Net. This is K8 PMI.
Well, good evening, Phil, and everyone on the net. Yeah, it's 32 degrees here in Maine tonight. We're in a warm spell, and we've had kind of in and out sun and clouds, and tomorrow is going to be up in the 40s. We're going to enjoy that, but then we're going to take a nosedive back into the deep freeze, and we're going to have lows in the single numbers and highs only in the teens for a few days. So we're going to enjoy this warm weather while we can, and I just had my dog up for a walk, and after the cold weather we've had, it just seems like it was a pleasant evening out, and it's 32 degrees. Like, it's all relative, right? The largest brain, oh my goodness. I think I'm going to, I have no idea. I'm going to go with a whale. They're a large animal. They must have a large brain. I'm not sure what kind of a whale. The largest whale is the blue whale, so I'll go with that. And it's strictly a guess, but hey, it's all fun, right? So back to you, Phil. Thank you for taking my check-in. Glad to be on the net tonight. KC1 VQS, back to you.
All right, Paul, well, we're glad to have you. We'll be clear with KC1 VQS. That is not the wrong answer. You got to think of the question. The largest brain relative to its body size. So it's sort of a trick question. But let's head on out to KE8QWE. James, You're up next on the ClubNet.
W8WKY.
Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo. Largest brain in proportion to the size of its body. I'll say a monkey, I guess. I don't know. So I'm going to go with a monkey. It's Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo, back to K8 PMI.
All right, that is not the correct answer. So thanks for joining in and joining us. We'll be clear with KE8QWE, and let's head on out to Canton. He was in and out, N8ZXB. So that's the bottom of the list. Let's do another round of check-ins. We're about another 15 minutes to get our full hour in, and we got about 27 check-ins. Not that bad for a ClubNet. So if you're still out there, want a trivia question or know this answer, give us a call. This is a W8WKY ClubNet, and your net control operator is Phil, K8PMI, and I'm listening for check-ins.
Whiskey 8 Echo Lima, Mike, Eric, Orville.
Kilo Echo 8 Echo Hotel Golf, KE8 EHG, Mike and Navarre.
All right, we'll pick it up there, and we'll take a bit of time. I got Eric and Mike there. So, Eric, I heard you first. W8ELN. This is K8PMI. And your question is, what was that? What animal is known to have the largest brain relative to its body size? Over to you.
W8WKY from W8ELM. No idea. I would guess something like maybe a hummingbird or one of the smaller birds, since they have very light skeleton. Also, I knew the answer to the giraffe having the highest blood pressure, and didn't appreciate the comment about someone cheating. It could be fairly easy to figure that out from the height of the giraffe's neck, and thinking about how high the pressure would have to be in order to get all the way up to the brain. So back to net.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and appreciate the answer. And that is not the correct answer. So we're going to go over to, let's see, where am I at? Mike, K-E-A-E-H-G, over to Navarre. And what animal has a brain relative to its body size? This is K8PMI.
Good evening, everyone. Good question. I have no idea. Might be my shack cat. She's just jumping up here to say hello. I'm going to try an ant. I don't know. I know ants are small, so maybe their brain's bigger than, because they can carry two of them. I have no idea. So, sorry for the third-party meow if it happens here. But just want to say hello to everyone, and I heard my buddy Pete in there, and if you want to check out a good band, go check out Pete's band. It's called Wheels Up, and they got some gigs going on, and they have one going on my birthday, too, February 14th. So I told my wife that. She's like, really? I said, yep. So, all right, 7-3 all, stay safe. KE8EHG, back to net.
All right. right, Michael, you got it. I tried to give a big hint relative to the body size. But yeah, it is the ant. I would think, what is it, 3 parts there or whatever, and one of it's the whole brain, so probably almost 30%, I would think, of its weight. But all I do is read the questions. I don't even know the reason behind it. So, all right, thanks for joining us. And that brings us to the bottom of the list. This is the W8WKY ClubNet. I'm looking for check-ins. We'll come up with a new question here. And if anybody else is out there and wants to join in, give me a call. This is K8 PM. All right, nothing heard. We have 28 check-ins. Anybody else want to come back and have anything, or do you want me to close the net down? This is K8 PMI, looking if somebody has more traffic for us.
K8 PMI, W8TD. In and out, please.
Whiskey Victor, 3 Kilo, WV3K, Phil and Canal Fulton with no traffic. But good evening and 73 to all. God bless.
Whiskey 8, Charlie, Tango Mike, Terry at Portage Lakes, and I'll be in and out. Have a good net. Oh, it is a good net. In and out.
I could always call on you, Carrie, to wrap it up. That's what we do on the barometer net, K8 PMI. All right, we added W8TD, Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo. I believe I already had you on the log. And W8CTM, we got you in there. And I guess we have nothing further. I'll make one more call for last call. And if I hear nobody, we'll close her on down. This is K8 PMI on the W8WKY ClubNet. Last call, I'm listening.
KF8 ELA Kilo Foxtrot 8 Echo Lima Alpha, Zach in Dalton, and I'll be in and out tonight.
Here is KB8 LNK checking in and out.
All right, we picked up KF8 ELA and KB8 LNK. Good to hear you, Ron. And I'll close her on down because everybody else was in and out. So this is the Sarah ClubNet on the W8WKY repeater. This net meets regularly Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock, meets for about an hour. Remember, successful nets rely on your participation, so please be a regular check-in. From the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association on the W8WKY repeater, we're at 147 Mark 39 megahertz in Doylestown, we now return this frequency to regular amateur radio use. 73, everybody, and thanks for joining.
Can you add one late to the number? K8HNK.
I got you, KE8HNK.
W8WKY.
Thank you, and 73.
K8EHG, N8MWS.
Well, that logger had to go in a hurry. KCFQV will catch you guys. Yeah, 5:30, 5:45. That when they'll start waking this machine up. Yeah, that when it'll start waking up. 5:45, 5:30, and that's AM. So, KCFQV.
KC8FQV, K88SLG. I heard you the second time there, Mark. I walked away from the radio right away. You know, business down the hall. Just went through the blue screen. It's not that NetLogger was being sluggish tonight. I think Phil writes everything down and then types it in afterwards. And that's why it's seeming a little slow. I think. KC8FQV, K88SLG.
Oh, I thought you were helping him out, Nick, tonight. I thought you were helping him out. You were just helping out the blue screen, I guess. You were running the sideband net SSB, the single sideband blue SSB, single sideband blue net. KCFQV.
Yeah, I was feeling a little chatty, so just chatting in the blue screen tonight, having some fun, letting Phil do this thing. So, yeah, I didn't have any responsibilities there whatsoever. It's not as easy as you think to log for someone or have someone log for you. Dustin and I have been doing it together for about 5 years now, so we've got a system that takes a while to perfect, or at least to practice. Perfect is the enemy of good.
Well, I know one of the things is you can concentrate on the screen and you have two hands to do the typing unless you have a foot pedal to do the microphone. But then you also have to think about, your talking. That makes another sense. You got another sense going. Then you have all the senses going. But yeah, when you're just logging, you're not using as many senses, but still it does take it. And yeah, your ears, they can play tricks on you. You're trying to listen and hear them. That were sometimes what you have the the dashboard. I'm trying to think what's the dashboard. When you have the dashboard and you see the ones that come up on Allstar or Echolink, them flash up at you. Kind of have heard where they've done D-Star and they just say key up. That's it. Just key up. But I don't know what they're using to see the key up, if they're using a computer screen or what they're using, because I've heard that when I was running D-Star for a while with the blue dongle, they would just do a round of key ups. So KCFQV.
On the D-Star radios, when you key up, it sends your call sign out to the other radios, and actually you can read the call signs across the screen. At least that's the way it works on the 5100. So my guess would be they were doing that. Texas Patriots Net was on Wires X, and on Wires X has its own dashboard, and they would just do check-ins that way, or off of NetLogger, because they use NetLogger as well. But the digital nets are really tough because you can't get 2 or 3 call signs at a time. They come in one at a time, they cancel each other out, and that's all you can hear, and it just gets real messy. So it's a lot easier to just click in like that.
Well, that's what I heard. It sounded like that what they had. They were doing some regular ones, but then they said we're going to just do a round of key ups. You just key it and leave go. But I don't know. Is it just put a comma or whatever after each one when it goes across the screen then, so that you would see them? Because if it did and it just flashed each one up, you still would have a hard time unless it makes a list of them or something. Okay, QV.
Well, if they're working off a reflector like an XLX330 or something, they all have dashboards as well, so they could very well be doing that. I mean, that would be my method of choice, because if they're coming in really fast, reading it across the screen gets a little bit cumbersome, like you said, and it tends to take longer to print out across the screen than it takes someone to key up, so you get some crossover there. My guess is they were using a dashboard as well. KD8SLG, over to KC8FQV.
All right, yeah, I was just curious about that. Yeah, I heard Josh talking tonight about the field day out there at the on Fulton Road, and I was looking around. Like, I looked at Google Maps and the satellite view, and when I first looked at it, it looked like the driveway was coming in from the east. And then I zoomed in even closer. I thought, no, it's coming off of Fulton Road, because right at the corner there. And I guess he must be talking about the church up the street a little bit to the east, I would assume. And that's what I was thinking. I said, gee, I seen that. I said, something's there. But then Josh said something tonight about it. So I guess Saturday wouldn't be too much, because, they don't do church on Saturday, really. But yeah, I've seen pictures of that on the bottom of our website. So, I'm not going to go out. But interesting to know it's going. Yeah, I looked at some of the rules, or some of the stuff. H was home, O was outdoors, or, not, I was what you guys are doing, and we are doing. That is, some other location other than home, but in somewhat tame conditions, warm, more inhabitable. M was mobile, camper, car. So, I was looking at that, and then I was looking at it said numbers, or maybe Phil said, or maybe I read in there that, even though you put 2 or 3 down, you have to have that many people running them. You can't run between them. So, I'll let you go. We'll try to see you on Thursday, KCFQV.
KC8FQV, KD8SLG. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, Mark. But yeah, come to the meeting Thursday night. It's sure to be a good time. So about Winter Field Day. So here's the thing. It's not like Summer Field Day where people can be at home, do their thing, and then add on to the club list. Okay? So contacts have to be made from the Winter Field Day site. The request for people to play at home on our website is for the people with those really short range 1.2 gig, 800, 900 hertz kind of things. They're going to have to be within a 10-mile radius or so of that place for us to make contacts. And we want to do that so that we can get some bonus multipliers on the points. But people can't just sit at home, do their thing, and then throw them at Josh later and say, add these to the list. That's not how it's working.
No, I knew that, because that's what the H is. If you're an H, you're a home station, and that's it. You register yourself as H. I is, other than home. I is, a community center, a church, the place where you're at. Yeah, the I is that. O is outdoors, in a tent, not in perfect conditions of, a nice, comfortable place. Mobile is, in a camper or box car. I heard one group is going to be in a train boxcar, I think, or a trailer, you know, where you can move it, but you don't have to be moving, but it is easily moved. Yeah, I was looking at the some of the things on there, and I seen and I said, and then when I was looking at the club at the map, and I clicked on some of the balloons that were on there. Some were I's, some were H's. There were some H's, and I said, well, that H must be home or something. And when I looked at the rules, I looked through them, and I said, nope, that's what it is. So yeah, I knew that. You know, I wasn't referring that. Yeah, it said at home and log and send in. I don't think even it should be that way during the summer. It should be, you have to be at a site. You shouldn't be saying, oh, I'm home, I'll just add them to the thing. No, it shouldn't be that. That's not part of field day. But then I was thinking, geez, I wonder if they're looking to, it's the field day contest, either one of them, summer or winter. If you have to be at sites and do site to site, or you can do sites to anyone out there in the world, you know, because that, I assume that what you can do from the site out to anyone in the world, and that where you get your numbers. KSEP-QV.
All right there, Mark. I'm going to call it a night there, buddy. We'll talk to you in the morning. You have a great night, man. Get some sleep. KC8FQV, this is KD8SLG. I'll be clear on yours, Mark.
All right, yep, we'll catch you in the morning, and yep, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, yeah, it's the BBB, barometer net, the beacon net, and the board and breaker net. Yeah, and there's a few other nets on there. The blue screen net. Each time the barometer, or the beacon net and the board and breaker net meets on Wednesday. So, KSEP-QV. 73 next.
Next, November 8, Mike Whiskey Sierra.
N8MWS, KA8LIJ, go ahead.
KA8LIG, November 8, Mike Whiskey Sierra. Good evening, how are you?
Doing great. Handle here is Bob. Call's actually Lima Yankee Juliet, LYJ. Heard you on the net. It was a good one tonight. I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, copy, because I like the format of the nets, and I like, you know, there's a lot of traffic on this repeater, and I'm a Maslin, 718 guy, but there's nothing going on there, and we need to ramp it up, ham radio, and have these nets and do the trivia stuff. That's fun, and don't cheat. That one guy called me out, but I don't care. He's a cheater.
Actually, I think his answer kind of made sense when you think about it. With that ridiculously long neck, to get the blood efficiently up to the brain and still have the animal active, logically would have to have a high blood pressure. So, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and, say he could have figured that out.
Yeah, well, I don't get my blood pressure checked in my neck. It's in my arm. So, I don't know what the long neck thing means. That doesn't make sense.
you would need a higher blood pressure to get the blood up the neck to the brain. That's where that logic fits in. It has nothing to do with where the blood pressure is checked, but everything to do with how much pressure is needed to do the job.
Yeah, I understand. Apparently that is absolutely the correct answer. It's just like, how would you know that? Would you have known that? I didn't know that. And I try not to Google anything on any of these questions.
Yeah, I was actually going to guess something like a gerbil or something because they've got a ridiculously high heart rate. But, once Mark said giraffe, I sat there and thought about it for just a second and said, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Hey, copy that. Overall, it's just, it's a great net, and I think it's a model for a lot of other repeaters around here to have a net like this. And then there's all these, the late night stuff, so impressive repeater, and I'm glad that I started hanging out here at 8MWS.
And this is KA8LYJ for ID. Yeah, it's always been a great repeater. I remember listening to it back before I joined the Coast Guard back in the early 80s. It was active then too. It's other repeaters they wax and wane. This one seems to have kept going. And yeah, it's a lot of fun and a lot of nets. Got the morning drive net 6 days a week. Got the late night net twice a week. Plus tuning into that Oklahoma afternoon net twice a week. Yeah, we get some mileage.
W8WKY.
So that's what I heard a couple of weeks ago in this afternoon thing, and I'm like, why is there all of these, Allstar Echolink people on here? And that makes total sense. It's interesting.
For a while, so I don't know when exactly they started doing that, but it's been a few years now. They've been partnering with that Oklahoma club and setting up the digital network so that we can all have a network together, and it's been a lot of fun. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of people complain, well, it's not RF. The RF is the way it should be. It's like, well, yeah, maybe, but we had a guy from New Zealand check in on the beacon net the other night, and you're not going to do that with a handy-talkie. Bring it on. I like meeting new people.
No, I agree. It's the camaraderie between, everybody that's into radio, and whether you're a listener or an amateur or whatever, I think it's wonderful. I do. And even if it's over the internet, but I still have that man, I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I get on FT8 on 20 meters, and I make these incredible, like around-the-world contacts with like 20 watts. And I know it's digital, but it's cool because I'm learning about antennas, and I have just antennas on the ground in my backyard, and I'm moving around. They're all verticals, and I'm learning. So, yeah, ham radio is fun. No matter how you want to use it, it's just fun. N8MWS.
I made an argument last week. Someone was, talking about the complaints about Echolink, and it's like, look, that cell phone is just a fancy UHF radio. That's what it is. It is a UHF radio, and that tower basically counts as a repeater. And so it's, UHF radio going through a UHF repeater, hooking up to a 2-meter repeater, and then going out, going meters. That's cross-banding, and cross-banding's been done for decades. So, shut up with the complaints about Echolink not being RF. This is KA8LYJ.
Well, I highly recommend doing some fun stuff on HF on the 20-meter band, because that's like my band of choice. During the day, and it's really, it's very gray line dependent, and if you understand and learn about the gray line and you follow the gray line and you're operating at the right time, you can make some really good contacts, like really far away. And they're very QSB, so they're fading, but you just gotta time it. And I've gotten really good at that. I get up early in the morning and have a lot of fun on 20-meter band, M8MWS.
Give you my personal greatest moment. I was 1994. I got sent aboard a Coast Guard high endurance cutter on a trip over to Europe, and we made a couple stops in Africa on the way back. And so I had it timed out. My wife's got her general class license. Dad was a tech, but Dad had all the HF gear in his basement. So I had to set up. My wife was going to be the control operator, and we prearranged a date and time to be on 20 meters. Worked at the timetable so I could be up in the radio room at the proper time to talk to them in my dad's basement. And I did it. Off the coast of Africa, I made contact back here to Barberton, Ohio on 20 meters.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I just have like one antenna that's sitting on the ground. It's kind of like a POTA vertical antenna that was made from a bunch of scrap parts, and I don't care. It's been out there for like 2 months in the weather, and it's been perfect. It's like 1.2 to 1 SWR on 20, but that's all it's tuned to. And I put some guy wires on the tripod because the first time I had a windstorm come through here and it knocked it over. So I guided down with like 4 guys of just parachute cord, like pounded into the ground with tent stakes. And it's been hanging out there, and it's rocks. It's great.
All right. Yeah, sounds like you got a good setup there. Sorry, I was distracted for a minute and had set the mic down. But yeah, that sounds like an awesome setup, and glad it's working for you. I'm working HF off of a Hustler Vertical. My SWR isn't catastrophic, but it's not terrific. But let's see, these Hustler Verticals, they're great for DX, but it's got to be long distance. They're useless for anything closer than I think 50 miles. Well, I won't say useless, but it's spotty. Got a local 10-meter group. I can talk to the guy who's a quarter mile away from me, but I got a guy in Copley, and he can't hear me for crap. It's as if I'm not even talking. So the the guy a quarter mile away from me has to relay what I'm saying if I want to get anything across to him. So yeah, that I got HF, I got an HF antenna, but it's spotty at least for local traffic.
W8TD.
Go ahead, W8TD, N8MWS, and I'm going to take a potty break. You guys have at it, N8MWS.
Okay. We'll watch for your return. Just wanted to comment, I can combine two of the topics you've mentioned. The ability to, via the internet, get into the local repeaters and communicating home from the west coast of Africa. I've checked into the nets on 3.9 from off the coast down there.
NEWT, this is K8LYJ. I look forward to your reports when you're off on cruise. Those are that's awesome. And yeah, I was doing it the hard way. Got permission from the CO to go into the radio room and use the Mars gear and tune it into the ham frequencies. Had my wallet copy of my license with me, so that they gave me access, and I was able to do that. But then, just last June, I checked into the ClubNet, Tuesday night ClubNet from a hotel room in Glasgow, Scotland, using Echolink, and that signal was a lot clearer, a lot more readable, and a lot easier.
W8WKY.
Yeah, if you actually want to communicate at a given time on a given day, you're at the mercy of propagation. And of course, if you're on sideband never sounds as good as FM. It can't. So yeah, I have. I'm going to start operating HF on the ships I had intended to on the last trip in October, November. But the weather never cooperated. We had gale force winds every day, so I couldn't go out on deck. And I was the intent was to use my own gear, not ship gear. I'm not even sure if it's not military, so there's no Mars there. I don't know if they even have capabilities for reaching the ham bands. So I'll bring it with me on the next trip and try again, I guess. KLYJ, I think. Please correct me, W8TD.
W8TD, it's KA8LYJ, Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet. And, yeah, actually I couldn't repeat that today if I were still in the service. The Coast Guard was operating under the Navy Mars plan, and the Navy abandoned Mars, I think, in somewhere in the early 2000s. They don't do it anymore. I think Air Force is the only service that still operates Mars. Every place soldiers and sailors get deployed now, they've got internet access and video chat, and it's a whole different ball game. So Mars is a thing of the past. But in '94, it was still a thing, and they still had the gear in the radio room, and I was able to pull that off. This is KA8LYJ.
Yeah, thanks. That was close. I just missed the prefix. K8LYJ, W8TD. Yeah, Navy shut down a long time ago, and the Air Force isn't using it hardly. And yet there are more radios being sold with Mars mods in them than ever before. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I've seen that, N8MWS.
KC8IPO.
Okay, we'll go N8WS first, and the other station stand by. This is K88LYJ.
K8LIJ, N8MWS. No, I'm just saying, imagine that. There's all these radios out there that you can get with the Mars mod, and it's like, why? Yeah, I agree. And that's all I have. Back to the other news station, N8MWS.
KC8IPL, N8MWS, I think it was. Just wanted to say good evening, gentlemen. I'm driving through on Route 30. Saw you guys beaking in on APRS and have been listening in, just getting the slot. So thanks for beaking in and giving a traveler someplace to talk. KC8IPL.
KC8MPO, K88LYJ. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we're just brag showing here, so we're happy to hang out and ride with you for a little while, at least until we start staring at the backs of our eyelids. I know I'm about to peter out soon. I got a breakfast meeting at the butt crack of dawn tomorrow morning. But I had to have you along. As far as the Mars mods, I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, I've been seeing chatter about that in the ham groups online, but I never put it together. But yeah, the services abandoned Mars. Within the last 20 years, it's not really even a thing anymore, except in the Air Force, and they're just barely. So why in the world are they doing that?
KC8IPL, I may have some insight on that. I know, at least for the volunteer firefighters that I work with, the radios, mobile radios especially, are higher quality, and a lot of us use those in our trucks that are Mars modded so we can talk on the emergency bands.
Well, on HF, the purpose is to use them on CB and above. My buddy used IC7300 a few years back, and the darn thing had all kinds of channels programmed into it around 27.5. So I don't think I got that for my ham.
I'll just use my Cobra for that.
Yeah, but with a 7300 you got more power, plus you can pretend you're a ham and tell your relatives and friends that you're a ham. Every time I meet somebody, they come to the office and they see my tower and they mention some relative or friend who's a ham. And it takes 2 or 3 questions to reveal that they're not a ham. They just tell people they are.
I remember my CV radio call sign, KB8. Hang on a second.
Gotten rid of licenses by the time I was old enough to have one for CB. K88LYJ.
7-3.
Well, I made my decision back in the 60s. There was ham radio and there was CB. Discovered them both at about the same time at the local library. And I chose ham radio and never looked back. So I never tried the other thing.
Yeah, you were my enemy back then. Yeah, we were pirates.
I was pretty much doomed to ham from the start. Mom and Dad were both had their tickets. So yeah, I mean, I was only 15 when I got my novice license, and and this is the call I got, and I've kept it through multiple upgrades through for sheer sentimental value. It's like no, I worked hard for you. You're part of my name. You're staying.
I'd have my novice at 15, but I didn't know any hams. I was 17 by the time I found a general class to give me my novice test.
I got my novice ticket with my brother through Sarah. They were running ham classes a couple times a year out of a classroom at St. Augustine School right here in Barberton. And my brother and I signed up for one, and we got our novice tickets together.
It was a good way to start. When they changed it so that the entry-level license was renewable, I think ham radio lost a lot. And yeah, I don't believe in changing calls. I've had this since the 70s, and I pretty much have it memorized now.
Technically, I've had mine since the 70s, 79, that counts, and it was at the beginning of the year. It was March, I think, when I got that in the mail. The ham class is January and February. So, 47 years now. Why in the world would I get another call now?
I just wanted to break in and make a comment. I didn't mean to monopolize the conversation. Is our mobile on 30 still in range? You had a pretty good signal before. Go ahead.
W8WKY.
KC8 IPL, yeah, I'm still here. I can hear you guys pretty well. I'm almost to Maslin at this point.
Oh, full quieting. Go ahead.
All right, well, we'll take it. I'm 50 watts on a Yaesu FTM 500, so hey, all credit due to Yaesu and a good antenna, but I think I'm the youngster here. I'm 42, and I've had my ticket since I was 14, same call sign, so I hear you. It's hard to change.
I mean, I get it. The shorter call sign is easier when you're contesting or doing CW. Fewer characters you got to worry about, and then there's the prestige of having the 4-character call. Everybody knows you've got you've got a higher level license, right off the bat. But I just that was never as important to me as the fact that this was the call I earned, and it just became part of my identity. So it's here for the duration. This is KA8LYJ. I think it's been a while since I said that.
Well, back in the 60s, your call signs weren't permanent anyway. You get your novice ticket, and as soon as you got your general, they issued you a new call. It was in 69, and then I got my extra, 73, 74, and they gave me this call sign, so there wasn't vanity calls then. You couldn't apply for it. It just happened.
MWS.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got a job at Goodyear Aerospace in 1985, and at that point I was still playing around with CB radio, but more importantly, I was into music and playing in bands and yada yada. But getting a job up there was great, and I met a whole bunch of people, and I took my amateur radio tests at Goodyear main headquarters, their club that was at main headquarters over there on the East Market, and got my novice and tech at the same time. Then I went back about a year later and got my general, and still had to do the code stuff. And that's, I don't need to go any farther. Ham radio has just been really a integrated part of my life. So N8MWS, back to the group.
Let's see now. This business of local examinations has really been a boost for ham radio. Back in the day, the novice and tech were mail order. I never had a tech because at that time the techs didn't have any privileges that mattered to me. VHF FM hadn't happened yet, so they were stuck on AM on 6 and 2. So the progression then, you either went to tech and stayed there, or you went to general. You didn't move from one to the other. But to get my general, I had to drive from here to Detroit. And then I had to do it again for my advanced, and then I had to do it again for my extra. You couldn't combine them. There was a waiting period between examinations, so you couldn't do them in one trip.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it when I did. The local exams have been around for quite a while by that time, by 1979. And at that time, novice and technician I both had the the KA calls at the time. And then if you went straight to general, you got an N call. And then if you were advanced, you had the 2x2, and then if you got your extra, it was 1x2. But they let you did have the option of not getting a new call. So when I upgraded, I just there was a box I could check, retain call, and so I checked it, and I've kept the call. This is KA8LYJ to put that call out there.
Yeah, but I had the same N call like you. I have N8MWS, and that was from like novice all the way up to general, and I did them all really quick.
Well, yeah, and my wife did the same. So it counted as going straight to general. Yeah, she took her. The novice was gone by by 93 when my wife got licensed, and so she took her tech, and they talked her, and went ahead and did her general theory, and they talked her into doing the general code test, and she didn't think she was ready, but she passed it, so she bypassed everything, went straight to general. So she got an N call.
Yeah, that really seemed like alphabet soup when that stuff started happening. So when I started, there was only 3 possible prefixes, plus a special one for novice. So in Ohio in the 60s, you'd get your novice, you were WN8. And then when you graduated to general, which you had to do within a year because it wasn't renewable, they changed it to WB8. And then when I got my extra, they offered me a 1x2, and I had a 2x3 at the time, and I was a CW operator. So I didn't argue with them. I let them give me this call. Oh, and let's see. And in the 60s, general and tech were the same written exam. The only difference was code speed.
Yeah, that's what held my parents back. They both passed their technician class back in the 50s. So yeah, they had the general theory down. But Dad didn't want to try to do 13-minute code. He was a phone guy, and Mom didn't want to pass Dad by. She didn't think that was appropriate. So they both stayed techs all their lives, but they had a ball with it.
Well, when FM happened, late 60s, early 70s, all of a sudden the techs had something interesting they could do. Prior to that, they could talk to each other on 50.4. The techs I knew back then, that's what they did. And, yeah, I'd get tired of talking to the same guys every day. But now techs can do all kinds of cool stuff.
W8WKY repeater PL114.8.
Yeah, there was quite a while there that Mom and Dad, went dormant. Had an old 6-meter rig on a desk down in the basement, and they played with that for years and years and years. The radio room was right under my bedroom, so I'd hear that buzzing and humming at all hours of the night. It was fun to listen to. And then they went dormant for a while because it was 6-meter AM, and I guess that went out of fashion, and we're getting bored with it, and didn't do anything for a while until somebody hooked my dad up with a 2-meter HT, and boom, there it was. The fire was relit. This is K88LYJ.
W8WKY.
In this area, at least, and it was different in the big cities. In this area, and I'm in Stark County because that's where I'm from. FM happened before repeaters happened. Everybody was on 146.94. I had an old GE trunk mount radio, one channel, but I only needed one channel. And then somebody in Cleveland put up a repeater on 9.4, and all of a sudden we were getting interfered with. And then boom, Canton put up a repeater, Massillon put up a repeater, Worcester put up a repeater, New Cumberstown put up a repeater, Akron put up a repeater. And then one channel wasn't enough anymore.
Now look at us, we're hooking up those repeaters through digital nodes and going global. It's the hobby just doesn't stay stagnant, does it? This is K88LYJ.
No, it does not. And back in the early 70s when I was a repeater owner, I would not have approved of all this linking, especially this long-range linking. That would have been anathema to me. I would never have approved of it. And look at me now. I use it all the time.
On a 25-year-old Alinco on a multi-band vertical screwed into the side of my back deck. So I like to do it old school, but I see value in stuff like Allstar and Echolink. And I'll never stop repeating it. It's like, look, I checked into this net that just ended from a hotel room in Scotland. Can't do that on an HT. So it has value. It has its place. This is K88LYJ.
And after I said I wasn't going to monopolize, I monopolized. So after this comment, I will step out of the way. Yeah, well, geez, I've checked into this machine from 2 oceans and 4 continents, and I've had a ball doing it. Today, for the first time ever, I checked into the Stark County emergency net on 1-2. I've never been able to hit that repeater before from up here. I just last week put a comet up in the 3rd floor, and now I can do it. So that was nice. I'm also using that antenna on this repeater where it's really, really wasted, because I could do this with a handheld. But I like the form factor and ease of comfort with a hand mic, so I don't use the HT when I'm home. Any MWS and whoever else is out there, I promise I'll be quiet. W8TD.
W8TD, this is KE8 ZZR. Hey, John, I was just wondering, do you know of a archive where you can go back and look up CB license numbers?
There is one, and I can't remember the site, but I think if you Google, you can find it. There is a repository where they've scanned in all of the old call books. Remember the old call books? We used to have to buy them. They came out in fall and winter, or fall and spring. They've scanned them all, and the database is searchable. So you pick a call book from the right era, and you should be able to find a call.
All right, I'll have to look at that or try to Google it. I was trying to find my call sign from when I was licensed as a CB guru back in the mid-'70s, and I can't remember my call sign.
Oh, okay. Well, this would be ham only. Yeah, the FCC didn't keep records. There's nothing in the official universal licensing system that shows me having a ticket any time before, I don't know, 1990 or something. So they missed a lot. But you can dig through the old call books to find when a license first popped up, if you're trying to find your history. That's how I found mine. I still had most of my original licenses, but I was missing one. And I had to dig back through the call books to find out when I got that one.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll let you carry on with your evening, and I'll be clear with you guys. This is KE8 ZZR Clear.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut down, go QRT, and go QRZZZZZZZZ. Been great talking with you, 73. Shoot, the after-net rag chew was almost as much fun as the net. This is KA8LYJ. I'll be clear on y'all's final.
Well, I have no objection to nets, and I've participated in plenty of them over the years, and I've run plenty of them over the years. But this is the format, the round table. This is the format that I really enjoy more. And we're seeing a lot more of it on 3.9 lately, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm usually on the air by 5:30 or 5:45 in the morning, so to achieve that, I need to be shutting down also. Very much enjoyed it. K8LYJ and any MWS if he's still out there, and the Mobile station, and ZZR, and any listeners. Talk to you all very soon. Whiskey 8 Tango Delta.